needs a hobby. Everybody was born to do something on this planet, right? Understanding emerges from peaceful reflection. Understanding. If you never understand, you need to go get a peaceful reflection to get some understanding. And then right action. Choices rooted in peace create harmonious outcomes. When you make the right choices, family, when you make the right choices, they bring harmonious outcomes. It's not hard to make the right choice. It's just that subconsciously, we want to suffer. That's why we make the wrong choice. We never admit it out of our mouth, but in the back of your mind, subconsciously, people want to suffer. All you got to do is look at people's fruit. Look at the fruit they bear. If you don't bear positive fruit, then you like to suffer. Can I be honest tonight? Or y'all want me to lie to y'all? I'm trying to help you. I found peace. And I'm busy, y'all. I got 100 million things to do. I deal with people every day. I deal with personalities every day. I do consultations, and I'm at peace. So it's a choice. It's a choice. Happiness is a choice. There's no road to happiness. Happiness is the road. So I'm going to be honest with you. All right? Power of boundaries. This is powerful right here. Sometimes, family, on your spiritual journey, you're going to have to set boundaries. You're going to have to set boundaries. I'm a busy man. I got 100 million things to do, but at a certain time of night, you can't call Brother Yosef, and you can't call Chief Nawadi. People know that. At a certain time of night, you can't call me. I set boundaries. Everybody want my attention. They need help with stuff, and that's fine, right? I'm available in the morning. But at a certain time of night, I set a boundary. Sometimes you can't answer your phone. You got to set a boundary. You got to protect your peace. You're not here to save people. Nobody can save nobody. All you can do is share information. So sacred self-care. Boundaries reflect spiritual wisdom, not isolation or fear. Let me read that again. Boundaries reflect spiritual wisdom. Smart people know how to put up boundaries. Right? A wise man once said, you got to have good spiritual hygiene. Right? That comes with setting boundaries. Sometimes you got to tell people no. Some of y'all scared to tell people no. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I have come to the point, especially as a leader, where you can't consider people's feelings. You have to consider the truth, whether they believe it or not. Right? You have to learn how to say no. Some people don't want to. They don't know how to say no. It's very hard for them, and they feel guilty. That's a horrible feeling to have. Guilt. Some people feel guilty for saying no, but this is how this is the power of boundaries. You have to protect yourself. You have to set boundaries, family. You have to say no sometimes. You have to protect your energy. You have to say no. All right. So boundaries reflect spiritual wisdom, not isolation or fear. Right. So setting boundaries is not about you going in isolation or being fearful. One thing about fear is that people who are fearful, they never admit it. And it makes it hard to help them. You know, yeah, everybody know that person. They never scared of nothing. But you see it subconsciously, you see it all in their life. You know what I'm saying? You see that they're actually scared. But one thing about it, you can't tell a person. They have to be in the right state of mind so you can even tell them. You understand? Energy protection. Shield your sacred space from negativity and drama. I don't care if it's your mama, your best friend, your cousin, your daddy, your co-worker. You're going to have to shield. They want to come with some negative energy, you got to shield yourself. Now, depending on your life and what you do for a living, sometimes you can't avoid drama. But at the same time, you got to remember that's a choice. Well, what am I talking about? Well, maybe you work at a school where you got a rude, where the kids can be rude, or the other co-workers can be rude. And, sometimes kids have all kind of issues. It's not a lot of it ain't their fault, right? And it could be some drama, or you could work at when I used to work at the garages back in the day. We used to have the people from the city come around. They were some of the most negative people in the world. So being honest, some of them probably watching me right now. You know what I'm saying? They know I had a YouTube channel. They used to be some of the most negative, cutthroat people in the world. And I was like, man, I never really want to work for them in that environment, because you don't know, the person you think is cool, they stab you in the back. It'd be constant drama, family. I avoid drama at all costs. The person get next to me, start talking about a person a little bit too much, I gotta go. And then I've noticed that person who was doing all the talking, they get in trouble later. Talking too much. Authentic compassion. Set limits to offer true care without depleting yourself, right? If you don't learn how to set up boundaries, you're not going to be able to give people true compassion. You're giving them fake compassion. You think you're being compassionate because you're helping everybody. Compassion is not about helping everybody. Only a fool will help everybody. You help people when you're ready, when they're ready. This is why I don't give out a lot of information sometimes, because I know people ain't ready. But with people who are ready, y'all know who y'all are. I introduce them to certain things when I feel like they're ready. It all depends on who you are. So I'm not going to sit around saying, I love everybody. That's not true. You don't even know people. Doesn't mean that you can't have compassion, right? I'm talking about love. Right? You can have compassion on people without knowing them, but you can't, but your compassion has nothing to do with helping them physically. You guys understand that? If you want to give authentic compassion, do it and set limits with the people and say, okay, I'm going to help people that's doing this. I'm going to meet them halfway. I'm not going to do it all for them. You got to do that to yourself, fam, or you're going to burn yourself out. And then if a person turn their back on you, you're going to be mad. Right? This is very important. Breaking negative cycles. Mantras redirect thoughts patterns. Yes, I saw somebody in the chat say it earlier. Yes, mantras can redirect thought patterns. Somebody said, Om Mani Padme Om earlier. Om Mani Padme Om is one of the most powerful mantras. They call it the king of all mantras. They call a lot of mantras the king of all mantras. The Gayatri mantra, which is probably my favorite mantra ever. They call that the king of all mantras. Right? And some of y'all, thank y'all for the support. For those who heard the song I put out, the Gayatri mantra, put like an R&B vibe to it. You know what I mean? But that's all to help people get into a state of peace. Right? So yes, speak mantras to redirect your thought patterns. You have a negative thought patterns. You can actually, Satanama is very powerful. Satanama, or you can say Satnam. That's a very powerful mantra as well.